Hello my friends, and welcome to, I want to say that's Lokhvitsa. Lokhvitsa. Vit is, with an H, is white in Norwegian. Lurk is onion, but that's with an R, not an O. Anyway, random Norwegian aside, let's get to work, as it were. Okay, so I'm just going to repair that. I'm just going to repair that. And that. And I have really no choice but to repair those because they are not repairable. Alright. Let's... Ah, man. I mean, this is sort of like the perfect build as it is. Especially with Tank Killer giving this thing a bit more spice against tanks. Taking it from 9 to 14. The thing is incredibly useful with artillery support. Okay, we're going to temporarily cut artillery support. So here's the thing. In fact, what I could do. Let's just field repairs this one. Hell, we can stick prudent on it too. Let's just blue stripe this one for now. It does have overrun, right? Yeah. I'm trying to think of what I was going to say here. This tank has the potential for me to still be using it in like 1945. Because 20 anti-infantry is just is enough to actually be effective against all soft targets basically forever. And with only a 2-slot cost, it's quite the machine. Now, what I can do is actually run a second set of them. But I definitely don't want to I definitely don't want to waste them. Okay, there we go. Alright, so he's got the same build as the other one. Actually, I'll river assault this one. But yeah, it's a funny thing that if you think about the future, every unit I have is going to be replaced eventually. Because 1942 or 1943 grade infantry is going to be totally superior to these two. You know, it is nice that these have rapid fire 1.5x, but I think stats-wise they'll be left so badly in the dust that it will be worth upgrading them to just standard infantry when the time comes. And all of these tanks will obviously eventually be replaced by things which are much better. The only units that would probably stick around forever is, of course, the artillery. And potentially these flame tanks. Just simply because they're so inexpensive, slots-wise, and I can't even think of what you would add to them to make them more effective against infantry. They've basically got high enough soft attack that they're going to have the maximum damage output against infantry throughout the whole war. And you know, like, better flame tanks will come along, but they won't cost 2 slots for a baseline set. That is for certain. Right. So if you look at this map, it's basically a mostly open map. But there is the odd close combat tile in various places, especially towards the bottom part of the map. Here and here. So might get some utility out of infantry here. I think this is going to be mostly a tank affair. Let's get my second recon car back in the lineup. Okay. Yeah, I guess there's nothing else I really want to bring to the forefront. I guess this costs 4 slots because of the because I've added the LOL tractor to it, which is definitely worth doing. I could probably cut a slot away somewhere. Probably don't need this to be so ridiculously overstrengthed right now. Okay, that's odd. Why can I not? You're a this should be a 4-slot unit. Wait, that's the same as Pioneers. I'm so confused. This is... Oh, okay, it's got the slots costs separately, so I would need to free up another slot. I've already trimmed the fat quite a bit. I've already trimmed the fat a fair bit here. Do you know what? Let's run this as a motorbike team. I was actually, in some ways, I prefer the motorbike team because it counts as infantry, and it's got a lower slot cost. Means that you can stick it in close combat tile, and it becomes frustrating nightmare for the enemy to deal with, at least cost effectively. You know, there's some argument for saying that basically, at 4 slots, this is an infantry unit. If you take this to 15 strength, what you have is a baseline infantry unit with baseline infantry stats, but far superior mobility. Noting that, you know, things like pioneers and such are going to cost 4 slots, even 5 at a baseline level with transport. Although with high grade transport, of course, the transport adds its stats to the infantry, so they are more powerful for certain. Okay, I do have 1 repair hero just running spare. I didn't really feel the need to stick it on anything. Let's put leadership on this, because why not? Envelopment. I had fast learner on this tank because it's quite far behind stats wise, and it still is. I see I'm drowning in not particularly useful heroes now. I mean, I always was. Let's go with development, it'll be slightly more useful. Okay, so I mean, looking at this map, it's literally just an open field. I literally just have a front line, and you just literally just bash your way down south, I think, just destroying everything in your path. So I think we'll put the engineers here, along with the bike scout car, so we can just check over here quickly. We'll have the standard recon on the other side. And then it's up to us what we want, really. Flame tank on this side, flame tank on this side. Heavy support on this side, surrender machine on this side, surrender machine on this side. Anti-air on this side, anti-air on this side. Heavy tank center left, heavy tank center right. I think the best place for Stewie is here, because he's slow. And this road here that leads through this objective and then down through... Basically this road leads through all critical objectives on the right hand side. And I think we want to keep this thing close to the road. Light anti-tank. No, actually, let's go with the heavy artillery on this side, because we've got this as our anti-infantry artillery. This is our anti-tank. On this side, we actually have the proper anti-tank. That's artillery on this side. Where do we want our air force? Well, looking at the objectives, the first nearest objective is these 2 towns here. And then as we push down, we've got this side to worry about. So I would say that we want our support on this side first. Speaking of support, I don't see any Russian airports. I don't see any airports at all, anywhere. Okay, there's one there, which I could very easily scout at the start of this mission. Yeah, the Russians have got no air support. At all. If they have any aircraft, they will be at... They have to be at this airport. It's the only one. There's no other airports on the map. It's that simple. So obviously I never put my Hurricane away because it serves well as a tactical bomber. And I am trying to work on it in that role. And it will get there. It will get there if I just keep working on it, trying to feed it infantry kills and hard kills. There is a possibility in the future of having a fighter that at least has some tactical capability. And these boys are going to pick up aerial ace, which will be hilarious in my eyes. Good old strat bombers. I don't know why people don't like strat bombers. I really like them. They have a reach out and touch you capability that normal artillery just doesn't have. But they, you know, and they're slot-wise, they're very inexpensive. It's kind of funny to think about that. You know, if you really wanted to, you could run as many strategic bombers as your airports would be able to tolerate. Because they are, you know, you can get them for 1 slot each or 2 slots each, but it's, you probably struggle to find targets for them all. Okay, and that's it really. There's nothing... I don't think there's anything particularly interesting or noteworthy about this map looking at it from the high ground. We run the infantry units through this area, clearing here, and if there even is anything here, clearing here and then pushing down here. And clearing here. We've got close combat tiles here, some in the open, and here. And there's some more sort of in this area, so it's better to have the infantry on this side. There is a bit of high ground here as well. In fact, the weird shape of that high ground makes me, and all this rough terrain, makes me think that that's probably where the Russians are. Where they primarily are. These rough tiles in like walls are basically designed to slow you down. I guess I wouldn't mind a spy plane, actually. It's the only thing that I lament, is not having a spy plane. But, you know, it's always a case of what do you cut to get a spy plane? No, I'm going to just rely on the recon bikes. Or the recon bike and the recon car. Because all I have to do is just make sure that there's nothing on my sides as I push down in a wall. You know, once again, you know, just for the sake of alternative strategies here, at 75 slots, you absolutely don't have to have like a quality army like this. You could, and it would not be difficult, just can this 15 slots of infantry here and literally buy 15 bridge engineers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You could can all of these, as in shuffle them into your reserve or whatever. Free up the 15 slots that they take. and buy 15 sets of boat engineers, boat pirates, whatever you want to call them, and literally just make a wall with them across the whole map. Literally just make a line of the things and just move that line down the map. And obviously the AI will plow into it, but then that's where the rest of your army operates to defeat and capture or damage or otherwise protect your wall of infantry meat. So, I mean, there are ways to play this with lots of low slot units. You can just literally wall your way across the map and blob your way down. You've got all the time in the world. I mean, 20 turns is forever. From the front line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, and 15, and 20, and 25. You got like a pace of 1.25, if that. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it from me for a deployment. I think we'll just we'll take it as it comes. I'll just operate 2 strike groups and clean the left and the right and collapse on the middle as required. But yeah, you definitely could use a wall strategy here. If you were playing against another player, I would be very tempted to just make a wall of engineers and just run down the map with it, because it's really threatening and hard to deal with, because you know that person can use that wall to wrap around your units and encircle them as well. If you don't, you know, they may not be dangerous in combat, but they're dangerous strategically, and it is a game of positioning. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the deployment, and I will see you next time.